How's it going, guys? Today we have a slightly different video for this channel. Usually we're not at this setup, we're just in my car filming on a GoPro, but today is a little different. As you guys saw by the title, we're going to be going over why I no longer take no-tip orders. Obviously, no-tip orders don't sound fun to begin with, but there's a whole side of this that you guys might not understand, and it's why I personally stay away from these no-tip orders if I can. Today's video is probably going to be a mess because I kind of had a rough day while I was doing Instacart because of a no-tip order. I'll explain later, but it wasn't fun. So if today seems more like a rant than a normal video, hopefully you guys understand why. But maybe you guys will be able to relate or at least get something from this, and here's some of my advice that I have for you guys. To any customers that are watching this, if you can't afford to tip, I understand. It's not a big deal, and I have done a lot of no-tip orders just because I want to help people out. There's a specific person in my neighborhood that never tips, but I always do her order because she's really nice, and she has handed me cash tips in the past just because she was so happy with my service. That is not my problem. My problem with no-tip orders is the fact that they do not care about you for the majority of the time. If you guys think about it, if they don't care enough to tip, then they're probably not going to really care about your service, and let me explain. Today I had an order that was about $30, and I had two customers, customer A and customer B, and I thought that they're both pretty nice, but the second customer kept wanting me to add stuff, and she wouldn't respond. She would respond like 15 minutes later, and I'd already, I would have moved on, and then she'd be like, oh, can you get that? And then 10 minutes later, I'll be back in produce, and she'd be like, oh, can I get the Benadryl too? And I was like, okay, I understand, sometimes you just forget to add stuff. Completely cool with that. But the lady kept telling me, she's like, oh, I need batteries. I'm like, okay. I was trying to find her batteries, and she wouldn't respond, and I was waiting around for a bit. Turns out I spent 40 minutes trying to find 3 extra items for this lady, and finally she sent me a picture of what I was looking for. I was like, okay, that's not something you get at a grocery store. They're literally batteries for some very specific machine. I'm like, why would that be at H-E-B? But I did not say that to her. I called her, and I was just explaining that I was looking for it. I asked an employee. My wife works at the store, so I was like, I kind of know what's in stock here and what's not right now because I get to hear about it every day anyways. And I called the lady, and she was very snappy on the phone, very rude, and was not happy that I could not find her candy canes or batteries that just weren't in the store or in stock. I feel like whenever I'm describing this, it doesn't sound as bad as it was, but you have to keep in mind I spent 40 minutes going back and forth through the store just for this lady, and I should have never even let that happen. I should have just said, hey, I asked an employee, it was out of stock, and I should have just left it at that. But I always try to go above and beyond, and I hate having to do refunds, so I really looked super hard, did not exist. This lady was just one example. I had another customer a while ago that was a no-tip order that I took just because I needed $7 more to reach my goal. I was doing the order, and before I even started, they sent me a text saying that, hey, we'll send you a big tip if you can get this done even sooner. So I rushed to the store, did the order as fast as possible, delivered it, and no tip. Also, they later reported items as damaged. These are things that are canned good items that can't easily be damaged. They were fine, they just wanted free stuff. A while back, one of my first orders that went really bad was a no-tip order, go figure. I was delivering ice cream and some frozen pies, and the person lived in an apartment, which every no-tip order that I have taken that has ended badly has always been an apartment as well. So anyways, I took this order, and I was doing a pretty good job. I found everything, and I was going to drop off, and I let them know, hey, I see that you're at this apartment complex. I know they have a gate. Would you mind buzzing me in when I get there, or can I get a gate code? She told me to straight up follow someone in, and she cannot give me a gate code. And mind you, there's a huge sign right there that says, do not follow people in. I was also driving my nicer car at the time, so I was like, I really don't want to risk having the gate hit my car, but I waited there for 15 minutes trying to wait for someone to come through so I could follow them in anyways, just so I didn't have to return everything. And I finally got to her place, I dropped it all off, and it was a meet the customer. She would not come out whatsoever, so I took a picture. Eventually she talked through the door, and she was like, thank you, blah blah blah. So I left. Right after that, the next day, I got a report saying that all the items were damaged. Every single item. She just wanted free stuff, and kind of weird to think about. Maybe if you gave me a gate code, I would have been able to get in sooner to make sure that your ice cream was fine. But it was already cold, so it was probably fine to begin with. She just wanted free stuff, which is why she reported everything as damaged. This is why I do not take no-tip orders. It's not because of the money, it's mostly because you're dealing with people that will ruin your day and slow you down. The 40 minutes that the person slowed me down today was 40 minutes where I could have been making money. And I average $30 an hour, so you guys do the math at how much money she cost me. What really upsets me is that, yes, you can just ignore no-tip orders, but Instacart will eventually pair it up with a decent order, so you get to deal with the no-tip customer anyways, but you won't know until you're done. Today, the order I took, obviously it was $30. There was a tip in there, but it was all from customer A, not B. If I knew that there's a customer in this order that wasn't tipping, I would have never even taken it, just because of situations like this where people just act very rude for whatever reason. What bothers me right now is that Instacart is pairing these no-tippers up with people that are generously tipping. I don't think it's fair, because basically what is happening there is customer A is making up for the fact that customer B is not tipping. And it's not always that they can't afford it, because I've delivered to plenty of people with very nice houses, very nice cars, and they still just don't tip. They're just that type of person that don't care about others. I realize that this kind of comes across that I'm just being greedy for money, but that's not the case at all. I just don't like dealing with people that don't care enough to tip you just a little. If they don't care enough about tipping you, then they're probably not going to care about you at all and just treat you like garbage. I really wish that Instacart would stop pairing these people up with people that do tip, because I feel like it just negatively affects everyone. I feel like it's just not being straightforward or honest with the shoppers, because we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. It's also very easy to get a low rating from people like this, which does affect our income directly. One 4-star review at this point would probably cost me several $100s, just because I wouldn't be seeing the good orders that I'm seeing now. I'd be seeing the bottom of the barrel. So hopefully this video is helpful for shoppers and customers. I realize that a lot of customers do not tip so they can tip you in person. I feel like that is probably the majority, but I want customers to know that when we aren't taking their order, it's not because of the money. We would happily probably do the order for you. It's mostly because we have these bad experiences quite often with no-tip orders. Instacart won't really do anything to help us here, and it's kind of frustrating. I just wish that Instacart was more straightforward and would let us know that, hey, this person's not tipping, so I knew to avoid that order. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the different type of video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.